Hello and welcome. Here is another video about SMMware, software for running the day-to-day operations of senior move management companies. This video provides a brief overall tour of SMMware features. For a more extensive demonstration of SMMware's features, please see the video recorded from our latest webinar at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SMMware, or just search your YouTube app for SMMware. Okay, let's begin. Our tour is divided into 5 parts. We're going to start with the core features, working with clients all the way through invoices. Then we'll talk about organizations and contacts, as seen here in green. Following that, we'll cover calendars, tasks, notes, and calls. Then we'll talk a little bit about SMMware on a mobile device. And finally, we'll talk about our integrations with MailChimp, with QuickBooks, both online and desktop. Start with looking at a client profile. I'd just like to point out we have a few fields. Client representative is for a client who cannot represent themselves. Maybe they have early stage Alzheimer's. Maybe this is an estate situation. We can indicate the representative relationship. We've got 3 fields for your who referred the business to you, starting from the most coarse to the most granular. And that's useful in our referrals report. We also have some custom fields. We also have address prefills, so that if you work with some senior living centers on a regular basis, they can appear in this list. And when you click them, it fills out all the fields for you, so that you just have to put in the apartment number. SMMware also keeps track of the address history for a given client. In this case, you started working with them when they're on this first address, their original address. In an earlier job, you moved them to this second address, and you're currently working with them on another job to move them to this third address. Next, we'll talk a little bit about estimates for the sales phase. SMMware allows you to collect information above and beyond the actual quote with what you're going to do for them and how much it's going to cost. You can collect information in the custom fields. You can upload photos. SMMware supports the idea that you create versions of an estimate, so that after the initial version, the client asks for changes, then you give them a revision, and SMMware lets you keep all of those. You don't have to overwrite them. Creating an estimate within SMMware is a matter of using the various blocks we provide. Everything from a client information block, some header blocks which have larger bold text, line item blocks where you can put in the hours, flat fees, expenses, summaries, and legal. We also provide you with a field for writing a note to yourself, so you can keep track of the differences between the various estimates that you provide to the client. You can create a PDF of the estimate. You can email that PDF to the client, and you can also save a given version as a template so that you can reuse it. You can also create jobs from your estimate. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at jobs. We offer 2 ways of charging the client, one of which assumes the same hourly rate no matter what the task is, and another one for when the tasks involve different rates depending on the type of work. That's called per job codes. We allow you to put in the new address, allow you to upload files for a job. We offer a feature for renaming the long random strings assigned by phones to the image names in a sequential manner. So in this case, we assigned a tag of kitchen, and we use the auto rename feature. And we wound up with kitchen 001, 002, 003, 004. So that's easy to refer to in conversation with the client. We also offer file sharing. And since SMMware knows the client's email address, you don't have to cut and paste that into place. You simply have to decide whether to share it with the client. You can also share the images with various contacts, whether it's the client's family or the movers, and so on. As photos are uploaded, they are downsized from typically 3 megabytes down to, say, about 100 kilobytes. And when you're out in the field, then you need to review, say, 30 photographs. That's a lot quicker to download. Let's take a look at what it's like to enter hours into the system. You can do multiple entries at one time. It's a question of picking a date, the job, assigning the time, and maybe you can use the preset to indicate what you did. Expenses works in a similar way, where you put in the date, the job, the amount of money that was spent, which vendor it was spent with, a description, and whether you used a company credit card or if you need to be reimbursed. SMMware also supports the idea of flat fees, so that might be an administrative fee. Could be a flat fee for boxes. And again, you have to pick the job and assign a date to it. Now we're looking at invoices. SMMware supports itemized and flat fee invoices. We offer you help with finding the address. Again, you get a drop down to pick from their old or new address, and if there was a client representative, you'd also have their address to pick from. You can generate PDFs, and you can email it to the client. We also offer status levels. From here, we're going to move on and talk about organizations and contacts. An organization might be a senior living center, and the contact is the person who works there, maybe the director of marketing. This area is a mixture of resources who you recommend to clients and also vendors where you spend money. Let's take a look at the next section. Calendars, task notes, and calls, seen here in yellow. When you create a new task, you can assign to somebody, you can give it a priority, a due date, and you can set up a couple of reminder emails, as well as entering a description, a short summary, and a longer description. SMMware also offers something called task groups. Each button represents multiple tasks that can be added to this system at once, which helps with consistency both in not forgetting a task and also the language of a given task. Our next section is notes. A note can come with a pre-fill. This is completely configurable. This one is set up like a daily report so that you know which information you are expected to put into the system. SMMware keeps track of when the note was created and who created it. It also lets you work with calls. Calls are a lot like tasks. You can use these either for calls that come in randomly, so you can record them as a call log, and you can also use a call planner if you put the call date into the future and add some reminders. I'll take a look at the home page. We have a variety of sections here that are of use to you. One, for example, is the My Tasks section. Lets you see all the tasks that have been assigned to you. Another one called My Tasks Delegated, which are the tasks you create and assign to others. If you're a high-level user, you can see all the tasks in the company using the All Unfinished Tasks section. You can see tasks recently completed, list of calls that have been assigned to you. If there are invoices that you need to approve, or hourly and expense items that you need to approve. You can see which teams you're on as the team lead, which ones you're on as a team member. You can see who sends business to you, where it's been the longest since you've spoken to them. If you're going to a sales call, you can have a list of clients who are willing to act as a reference. And then back at the home office, you can check out the list of clients where you still need to ask them if they're willing to act as a reference. And finally, on the home page, we have the schedule section, which consists of events that are assigned or that you're part of either as the main contact or as an attendee. Various sections on the home page can be hidden if you're not using them. If you need them, you can bring them back using the Show All Sections button. Looking at the master calendar, SMMware provides 3 different ways of managing your attendees. You can use it based on availability, based on invitations, or based on directly assigning people to a given event. Let's take a look at SMMware on a mobile device. When you first start to use it on the mobile device, we can set up an icon on your home page. You click on that, it takes you directly to SMMware in the browser. And if you allow it to maintain your login session, you can have it up to 3 days, and you can let it memorize your password, so it takes you directly into SMMware without a need to log in on any regular basis. Let's take a look at the calendar here at the bottom of the home page. See what it looks like on a mobile device. Looking at a few of the events. And let's see what it looks like on the page for entering your hours. You can see that all the same fields there, they're just arranged in a different way that's more convenient for mobile. First, we're going to talk about our MailChimp integration. In SMMware, you can assign a contact and an organization to categories. And for the contact, when you modify the profile, it will update MailChimp, and all their categories will become tags. You can see that we just added legal to this person's tag, and MailChimp was updated so that in addition to real estate, it said legal. Now we're going to talk about our QuickBooks integrations, first with QuickBooks Online. Copying information from SMMware to QuickBooks is pretty straightforward. We provide you various places where you can click on a button, say for transferring hours. And you simply have a 2-step process, and it gives you feedback saying that the hour time activity was successfully created. The most common usage for this is to use a date range that corresponds to a pay period and use the QBO Add All button to transfer the entire set of entries over to QuickBooks. Now looking at QuickBooks Desktop and the experience there, we have a new client that needs to be transferred over to QuickBooks Desktop. In this case, it's a 2-step process where you add them to the queue, and you can see them in the queue from within SMMware. And within QuickBooks, use the Update Web Services button. Click on Update Selected. And the new client is in the system. So this concludes our overall tour of SMMware. We've talked about the core features with entering clients and estimates, working with jobs, entering your hours and expenses, creating invoices, talked a little bit about file management. We've also looked at organizations and contacts, covered calendars, task notes, and calls, looked at SMMware on mobile devices. We've talked about our integrations with MailChimp and also with QuickBooks. To find out more, visit our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SMMware, for more videos about specific features of SMMware, or search your YouTube app for SMMware. You can also visit our website at www.smware.com. You can call us at 240-285-4619 with questions or to arrange a demo. SMMware is an industry partner with NASM, the National Association of Senior Move Managers. We appreciate your time and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.